welcome back everyone, welcome back to another CranKy Duckling broadcast. I'm of course your host ZvP, and with me I'm joined by not just the one, not just the only, but many lovely and beautiful ducklings. Oh look at them. They're amazing, they're beautiful, man. They're beautiful. Welcome back everyone. I apologize for the delayed start. We were supposed to start a couple of minutes ago, but I was very haphazardly trying to set that up. I remember, like, I was about to go live. It was like 1 minute till we go live, and then I'm like, oh, we have ducks. I remember we took photos because at HomeStory Cup there were ducks, and I had to quickly try to find the photo and implement it, and oh, are they beautiful. Welcome everyone, welcome to a replay cast of the HomeStory Cup 23 did occur a couple of weeks ago, actually a month ago, I think almost a month ago to the date. Did occur HomeStory Cup, and none of the ducklings were there in person, but we were there in spirit. We were there in our duck form, if you will. Fun fact for those who maybe didn't watch the broadcast live, at HomeStory Cup, that is a photo from the HomeStory Cup set that actually had a little pond full of these little rubber ducks, and throughout the course of the broadcast they would fish. I think there were like magnets on each of the ducks, and they would fish a duck, and each one was like, I don't know, like free Red Bull or like subscriber shout out, or like each one had like these little things written on them to like help spice up the broadcast. So they would fish for ducklings in between matches. So yeah, it was really cool that, you know, Take TV, they incorporated the CranKy Ducklings in some way, and they fished us. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. Oh god. So yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. On top of that, I also did kind of try to test something else, and I actually have a proper green screen for now. We'll see how it goes. I don't have too much range, but it's looking a little bit cleaner than it normally does. Regardless, we have a lot of matches for you tonight. Not too many. Obviously, we are aware that Gamers8 is later on tonight in a couple of hours. Until then, we have you covered, and we may go over time. We may bleed over into Gamers8 a little bit, which is less than ideal. But we'll probably raid Gamers8 afterwards or something. We'll do something. Regardless, we will finish up in a couple of hours. So yeah, until Gamers8, we got you covered. We do have you covered with some spicy matches. As you can see before you, we're going to be kicking things off with Lambo versus Harstem. Afterwards, we have Rainer versus Harstem, Kelazur versus 4Jumi, Lambo versus Kelazur, and Harstem versus 4Jumi as well. For those wondering, this is a round robin group with plenty of players. We're going to be casting Group A today. I should preface, we are casting half. We're casting half of Group A. The other half will be in the next broadcast. There are just so many matches to go over, and we're not casting every match. There are some that we're going to be avoiding that are maybe a little bit one-sided when it comes to the overall player skills. There's too much of a gap, but for the most part, we are covering as much as we can. So yeah, we got you covered. We do have you covered, at least for the group stage of HomeStory Cup. Group stage. Oh. Catching up. Hello, Ursus. Hello, Aistan in the chat. I saw Noam Chomsky, Soundo, Tapia as well, and Kuro. Welcome. Good to see you. Lovely to see you. Oh, and yeah. I'm not too sure what we are going to be diving into, but I'm sure amazing games are to be had. For those wondering, again, there were a lot of matches that were played out in the group stage of HomeStory Cup. So many matches, and yeah, I think everything may have just barely been casted, but you know what? We want to cover it ourselves as well. We want to cover it ourselves, and it gives us an opportunity to use this photo. It's beautiful. I love it so much. Oh, it's amazing. And we have our first matchup for us. It is going to be that ZvP. Oh, game 1 on Dragon Scales. Let's go. Let us go. Should change the Soon TM to change the Blizzard Soon TM after 1 minute. Oh god. But yeah, I apologize for it taking a little bit too long. I was looking for the duck. Oh, meanwhile, oh, there is something missing here. Uh-oh. That's not right. Bam. There we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the German Zerg player representing Shopify Rebellion. Ooh, it is Lambo. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands representing also Shopify Rebellion. It is Harstem. Kicking things off with a team kill. Ay. Take Dennis. Calm down. Not just that, you could definitely make an argument that Lambo and Harstem, they are some of the stronger players in this group. Bearing in mind, Raynor is also in this group as well. So Raynor, Harstem, Lambo, they would, I would argue, be the favorites. And for them to face off so early on is brutal. No chill. Well, is it brutal though? That's the thing, right, about HomeStory Cup is that it's a tournament, but it's also like a party. It's a gathering. There's a bar. There's a lot going on there, and I imagine the later the tournament goes on, the more drinks these players have inside them. So, so it may be better. The earlier you play, the more sober you are. Is what I'm saying. So the players may get a little bit more rowdy as the series goes on, as the night goes on, I should say. I'm looking forward to it. Not like this. For now, we just see Harstem going for a gate expand. Very economic opener here from our lovely Protoss player. I'm really excited though. So we cast a lot of Harstem. What was it? It was during, was it IM Katowice? No, it was the tournament after that. Sorry, it was DreamHack Young Shipping. That's it. ESL Masters Summer. We casted a lot of Harstem, and we did because we casted it live. We were lucky enough to cast it live. And something that was really interesting, that really stood out, was Harstem's PVZ. He has a very greedy, very economic opener here, going into a very fast third base, which seemed really, really greedy and really risky. And we saw it pay off, and we saw it also being punished. We saw it pay off against the Korean Zerg players, because the Korean Zergs were very unfamiliar with how Harstem was playing. I'm talking about Dongreku, I'm talking about Ragnarok as well. But in the rematches, Harstem was punished. And I remember Lambo, this is a rematch actually, back in DreamHack Young Shipping, Lambo just completely shut Harstem down when he tried to go for that fast third base. So we'll see if he tries to do it again, as he's going for a Stargate opening. I remember seeing like Ragnarok and DRG, like, sorry, I don't think it was right. I remember it was at least DRG, like, have a hard time against Harstem, and then Lambo like stepped in and just stomped him down. It was crazy. It was crazy. But it clearly did show that Lambo was familiar with how Harstem opened up, and this is what I'm talking about. Look at how greedy this is. There's no Adept, there's no Oracle. We go straight into the third base here before we even have the first unit out. This can be punished so hard here. There's no Adepts, there's no SimCity. Harstem is coming back here with his first Adept, but yeah, it's just it's really quirky and really unique here to Harstem, just how he takes his third base and how quickly he gets it. Oh. It's wild. As the first Oracle is also rallied across the map, we do see Lings moving out here for Lambo, going to be getting eyes on things. He hasn't quite seen the timing of the third base yet, but he soon will get his eyes upon it. Lay his eyes upon it. As the first Oracle thankfully is rallying back home. With this Oracle, this third base should be safe. I mean, the third is already halfway done at this point. Like, it's it's gonna be fine nonetheless. Oracle does shoo it away, and the third is almost done already. Third is almost done at this point. Meanwhile, back at home, Harstem going for his standard follow-up. He's going for his third base, getting saturated, getting his fast, or I say his fastest Evo Chamber as well for +1 melee to get into fast +2 melee. Everything's looking pretty normal here from Lambo. He's not overreacting. He's not going to try and punish this in any way. We do see Harstem just getting away with a bit of a faster base, and ooh, I was really curious. So Harstem, he didn't make a second Oracle. I was like, so he's not going to be harassing across the map. He's going to be stuck at home for a little bit. Adepts are moving out, but the Oracle has to stay here to keep this alive. He's going to be moving out though, so a bit of a risky move here. But we're getting to Phoenix production. We're getting to a second Stargate as well for double Stargate Phoenixes. Oh boy, his inner Ruddy, his called him Ben. Oh, what is it? Kev, that's it. Inner Big Kev is coming out. Oh. as the Phoenixes are banking up back at home. Again, this is also something that we saw out of Harstem during DreamHack Young Shipping as well, amassing all these Phoenixes, and this can be a really big surprise. This can hunt down not just Overlords, but also dive on top of Queens. It can dive on top of Mineral Lines. If this is joined by a bit of a ground army as well, he can just overwhelm and overpower a base that is left unattended. So I do worry here for Lambo, just because he hasn't seen anything yet. Once the lair is done, then he can dive in, but until that lair finishes, he is in the dark. He has Lings out on the map. There's no Overlord in position though. There's no confirmed scout into the main. The Lings are just poking however they can. They're going to get eyes on this base. No shield battery, by the way, so probes can be focused down. Nicely done. One probe. Oh, can we get a second? Oh, does get a second probe. Not too bad. There we go. Finally, we have that shield battery from Harstem again. This was another corner that he was cutting, and Lambo, I love it, is going for a massive wave of Lings. The Banelings are on the way as well. Aggression is coming out. Lambo wants to punish this third base. Meanwhile, the Phoenixes now reveal themselves. Now, there's nothing that these Lings can do against Phoenixes, so they're just moving out across the map. The Phoenixes are going to get some damage done. The Queens are brought forward. The Phoenixes pull back. Up! As the Banelings roll in, good force field. 3 probes go down. Only 3 probes. The rest of the Lings have arrived. And Phoenixes, what are they going to do against these Lings? We have an overcharge, but the shield battery is going to go down. More Lings are racing on forward. I would love to just keep the pressure on here at the third base. Banelings are roll in once again. Up! And they will connect with the sentry. They take down the pylon. Probes are going down. And again, Phoenixes, they're great at dealing with Queens, at getting economic damage done. But they can't pick up Ling after Ling. GG gets called, and Lambo takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. Nothing too fancy there, but I mean, I say nothing too fancy out of Lambo. Lambo just punishing the build of Harstem. Harstem, he himself was being quite fancy, going for mass Phoenixes, and again, against a Ling Bane bust, Phoenixes are the worst thing you can have, just because they're a massive investment, and they can only pick up 1 unit at a time. And even against mass Ling, sure, they can pick up a couple of Lings, but then they're just gonna run out of energy. You know, it's it's not ideal here for Harstem. I'm just caught with his pants down a little bit. He was also being greedy. We were mentioning it earlier, but he was cutting. Cutting warp ins. He was, avoiding warp ins in general, or gateway units. Going for a fast third base. So really nicely done here by Lambo to take that first game. Whew. And now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. It's a very swift end to game 1, and I imagine Harstem is going to be going for a much more standard follow-up here in game number 2. At least I hope so. Oh, I just realized the stinger isn't there. Oh. Wait, what? I need to fix that. I do need to fix that. Un momento. Stinger wave. Okay. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have the red Protoss player from the land of the Netherlands representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Harstem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the German Zerg player representing Shopify Rebellion as well. They are teammates. It is Lambo from Germany. Pretty solid, straightforward game number 1. I say that, of course, Lambo was able to identify the weaknesses of what Harstem was going for and was able to punish it very, very hard. Again, they are teammates as well. I'm sure they watch each other, they cuss each other, they practice with each other quite often. So very nicely executed there by Lambo, as we're getting into another standard opener here in game number 2, going for a hatch gas pool. Lambo was forced to take the unnatural natural. So, Harstem is going to have maybe a bit of an opportunity to be a little bit more aggressive, especially on Babylon. The rush distance by ground is pretty short on Babylon, so something like a Twilight Council opener could work out on a map like this. When I say Twilight Council, I mean an opener into Glaive Adepts, maybe a DT opener as well. They are on the table for Harstem, as he's just taking his second gas geyser, just working on his gate expand. Nothing too crazy for the time being. We're just kind of waiting here for the tech to be chosen by Harstem at least. I don't really see Lambo going for any kind of big all-in until he sees something a little bit off from Harstem first. For now, just saturating our bases. No 15 hash this time. Bit of a shame, but I definitely look forward to seeing it incorporated by some of the other Zerg players tonight as well. I'm sure we will. I don't know how prevalent the 14 hatch is in Europe. I've seen a lot of the Koreans do it. I haven't seen too many of the Europeans whip out the 14 hatch instead. Again, these are just two different ways of getting your natural base up and running without being forced to take an awkward hatchery and be exposed to Oracle harass. I guess against Harstem, it makes sense to kind of go for something, or not really be too concerned with faster hatcheries, just because, you know, kind of avoided those Oracles earlier. I don't know if he's going to make too many of them in this game. We'll see. As the first Adept has arrived, he's going to be threading a shade in towards that third base. Just getting an eye on things, making sure the drone count is on the up and up. Stargate opener coming out from Harstem, just like the previous game. Nothing too crazy. No Twilight Council opener, as it seems. Once again, going straight for that third as well. Before even Warp Gate is done. Very fast third base out of Harstem. This is spotted, or the timing of this third is spotted by Lambo. He's fully aware. And I'm really curious to see how he's going to react to it, if at all. If at all. Lings are going to be applying some pressure. First Oracle still not even halfway done. Again, that's why it's kind of risky to expand the way that Harstem is going for, but he's setting up SimCity. He's getting ready with that Adept. Lambo, he goes straight for the probe. Does get a kill, and he's trying to force it up to expose itself. He's trying to bait it further and further out, trying to get a surround, but no good control out of Harstem. He does avoid the surround. It does get his first Oracle out, and he's going to be able to get away with this third base. Behind this, Lambo is just droning heavily, saturating his bases and working on that Evo chamber once again for plus on melee. Oh, hello. Okay, so we were talking about Twilight Council openers before. This isn't an opener, this is a follow-up here. We have two Oracles, we have a third base. We don't have a Forge. This is a very fast Twilight Council. This is looking like Glaives, but I'm curious to see what Harstem goes for as he's making a wave of Stalkers. Is that to throw off his opponent? Or are we going for Blink? I am curious. Again, to me, this does seem like Glaive Adepts. We can see us just resaturating those gases. Meanwhile, the Oracle dives in. 3 drones go down here at the natural. Not too bad. Blink is on the way instead. Not Glaive Adepts, but there is no Forge. Is this something that Harstem was doing? I'm trying to... It's been over a month. It's been over a month since DreamHack Young shipping, so... The last time we casted Heart, it was a while ago. But yeah, really delayed Forge here is interesting. This screams like 3 base all in, but Harstem may just go for a later tech instead. We'll see how this does pan out. What I'm referring to is that a very popular build on some of these smaller maps from Protoss players is to go for a 7 to 9 gates Blink Stalker all in without any upgrades. And you set up a proxy gateway in the center of the map, or wherever you want to reinforce, of course, to keep the pressure on, and just keep warping wave after wave of Stalkers. And the lack of Forge would be an indication of that. Till then, though, Lambo is just droning up on 3 bases. He is making a massive wave of Lings, actually. We're going to be very prepared here for this Stalker push. There is that Forge much later, but it's on the way, so it looks like Harstem is thinking further ahead. As the Stalkers are going to threaten the creep at least. To force a reaction from those Lings. The Queens are taking quite a number of hits already. Oh, not enough energy for Transfuse. Tumors are going down. We can see Lambo once again luring the army onto creep, getting us around. Blink is done though, so we aren't going to get too many Stalkers. It looks like 1 Stalker goes down. We get a 2nd Stalker just barely. But that was a lot of Lings. 13-9 Lings have already died this game. Queens are going down as well, but once again, Lambo dives on top of this at the same time. Baylings! Oh my god! There's no way out! 22 probes go down. The probes, they were stuck. They couldn't escape. SimCity working against Harstem. While Lambo was dancing with the army, he was sneaking out that Baneling waddle by, and suddenly Harstem, he loses his economic advantage. The whole purpose for getting a faster Nexus was for just a higher worker count in general. He's walling up. Is that a full wall? I think there's enough room for one unit there, potentially. Yeah, because they can rally in. Oh. Harstem taking that very seriously across the map. Lambo, he's just droning up, saturating his 4th base, getting his 5th up and running. Roach Warren is on the way. A very delayed Roach Warren, actually. So that's leading into why it was such a Ling-heavy composition from Lambo. Roach Warren is now done, and we can get into Roach production. Meanwhile, Harstem, interesting, he's not taking towards Colossus or any kind of robo-based units. He's going for Storm instead. Can be a risky move, of course. Storms are quite limited in nature just because they are energy-based. So he needs to make them count. Meanwhile, back at home, Lambo just getting his own side of the map up and running. You know, after all that economic damage, after killing a lot of Stalkers as well, Harstem is stuck at home. He's just giving Lambo so much freedom as Lambo takes control of his side of the map, working on +2, Roach speed, Baneling speed as well, all of his upgrades. And his creep isn't looking too bad either. So Lambo has a pretty solid lead for the time being. Harstem, he's going to be dancing with the army. Going to be looking for a way in, just trying to keep his opponents, well, just trying to make him back off, I should say. Harstem does have Storm. How many High Templar? He's got 7 High Templar. Scratch that. 5 High Templar. And momentarily, they're all going to have 1 Storm each. Too bad, as we do see Harstem dancing with the army. Lambo diving on top of it. Gets a couple of Stalkers. Ooh. Storm will connect on the Lings. Storm has been revealed. At the same time, Banelings, they do roll in towards that 3rd base. Zealots go down, and they will not make it into the mineral line. Likewise, Lings were harassing the 4th base as well. Now, those Banelings, even though they didn't get into the mineral line, they did clean up a lot of those Zealots. They also dealt with some of the stack defense. They will make a later run by that much more effective. As the rocks are knocked down. Banelings rolling in once again. This time the army's in position. They will not get in. Likewise, we have Lings harassing that 4th base. The Roaches are looking for a way in. They're trying to catch some of these units unattended. So far, Harstem doing a good job at keeping up. But Lambo still has full map control. He's taking up behind this. We have an Infestation Pit, a Hydra Den for Hive Tech, for Lurkers potentially. 7 more pros went down here at the 4th base. Lambo still looking for a way in. That maxed out now at 200 supply. Even with Storms. Don't know if it's going to be enough. We can see Lambo getting ready for a massive surround. Rocks are knocked down. The Storms are looking good on the Banelings. And when it comes to a head-on engagement, it looks like Harstem can maybe take a fight, but more reinforcements are trickling on in. Banelings once again will not connect, but every single Storm was used. Every single Storm had to be used, and now there is nothing left. Only a handful of Stalkers. The Archons are trying to morph in. We have reinforcements. We have an Immortal. Harstem is holding. He only loses 2 workers. He even catches some of these Roaches here in the retreat as well, so good pickoffs here by Harstem. Getting a lot done. I thought there was going to be a Link Bane counterattack being set up here, but that's just Overlord, just chilling. Speaking of Banelings rolling in once again, but we have a wall of gateways. Oh my god. No way in. Lurker Den is on the way, Hive as well, so again, Lambo is taking up into Hive Tech. Lings have arrived. And even though we have a full wall off, because the SimCity is also working against Harstem, he can't really protect these gateways. They're exposed, they're going to go down. That will create an opening for these Banelings. Oh, is there a Storm? There isn't. Banelings, they crash on in. They only get 2 gas mining probes. Harstem immediately just replacing that wall. And again, Lambo, his goal here is just to contain his opponent while he gets ready for that lurker transition. Meanwhile, creep is being spread towards his opponent, already touching, just encroaching upon his third base. And there's nothing that Harstem can do about it. He's going to try and clean up whatever he can. At the same time, another Ling counterattack here on the left-hand side, just keeping Harstem busy. Lings, they roll on in. The wall is not a wall! No! Do we have a storm? Oof. Force to storm the mineral line. Not something you want to be seeing. As Lambo's rolling in once again. This time the storm is ready for it. Force field as well. Harstem doing the best he can. He just wants to mine, Papi. Leave his probes alone. Sky tosses on the way. We have a fleet beacon. Oh no! Harstem, for one moment, wasn't looking. The Banelings, they get in, they take down 6 probes and a shield battery. And we're just gonna keep on going. Here come the Lunkers. I don't think we have any Vipers. Meanwhile, the Immortal is gonna get caught out. A massive pickoff. Looking at the units tab. Yeah, no Vipers for the time being, but we don't need them. To be honest, we may just not even need them. Lurker range is about to finish up. Side 6 spines kicking in. Oof. As Banelings get into the mineral line. Good storms on the Lurkers, but we need more than just storms. The storms, they just soften them up. As we have enough on the ground to support. GG gets called, and Lambo takes the series 2-0. GG. Oh my god. From almost the beginning, Lambo had just so much momentum going his way. Initially, if you remember, Harstem was being very aggressive. He even delayed his own forge and his upgrades just to be in the face of his opponent. And while he was, you know, keeping or dancing and trading well with the Lings at least, if you remember, a lot of Lings went down in the early game. As that was happening, Lambo was able to sneak out a Baneling run-by, and that was not the first. That was the first of many Baneling run-bys. That was not the last, I should say. The first of many Baneling run-bys at that third base and the fourth base as well. Just relentless Lambo was. And after Harstem was initially pushed back, after his Stalker army was initially pushed back, he could never really be active on the map. Yeah, whether it was with Oracle Harass or a Warp Prism or Zealot run-bys or Blink Stalkers, Harstem, outside of the early game, he was just stuck at home the entire time. It was crazy how oppressive Lambo was. Again, kind of punishing the early game of Harstem and forcing him to be defensive. GG. GG, really well done there by Lambo. Very impressive results. Very impressive result. Ooh, as he does take the first series 2-0. And again, you know, this is a round-robin format. Plenty of players, plenty of matches to be had, plenty of opportunities for both Lambo and Harstem as well to fight back and to get points on the board. But it doesn't get easier. It doesn't get easier, Papi. So we're casting this in order that they were played out. Up next. Oh boy. It is going to be another ZvP. It's going to be Harstem versus Raynor. Get Harstem a drink, Papi. Get him. He got in the group with all the Zerg players, and yeah, now Raynor rises here to take the place of Lambo. Of course, very different kind of players, and I imagine that very different styles are going to be upon us. Harstem, he may have better luck against Raynor. The reason why I say that is that I mentioned earlier, because Lambo and Harstem are teammates, because they interact with each other a lot, I imagine Lambo is just very familiar with how Harstem plays. There's a chance that maybe Harstem can bring something to the table that Raynor isn't too comfortable with, and can maybe catch him out. Potentially.